Hello and welcome back to Watching Worst Film, the weekly podcast where we journey through the winners and the losers from the Golden Raspberry Awards, an annual ceremony dedicated to the very worst from Hollywood and beyond. As always, I'm your host, joined with As always, I'm your host, joined as ever with Jericho. Hello.
Hello, say hello to my chocolate blend.
I know it's very late. I'm very tired, but you know what? I decided I'll take it. You're gonna get the smooth radio voice today, I'm afraid, guys. Just gonna have to deal with it. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I have been at the London Film Festival, so I'm also a little bit all over the place because I've seen approximately 34 films in between watching Jack and Jill 2 days ago and this podcast. So.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, speaking of which, we're traveling back in time to a simpler time, I would say. The dawn of global communications.
Wow.
Smartphones are on the rise. A young Joe Piscopo taught us how to laugh. It was, simpler times. 2011 with Jack and Jill. We're getting towards the end. This is quite a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Not for the film itself, but obviously for our connections to the main star, one Adam Sandler. So, well, before we go any further, what's your background with this film?
Nothing. So this film came out when I was on exchange in Canada, and weirdly for me, I didn't see that many movies. There was a different Jericho, a healthier Jericho, who didn't feel the need to compulsively watch every film that came out. And so this kind of passed me by, and I heard dreadful things about it, including like the record Razzie sweep. And so I was just like, yeah, you know what? Like, I didn't enjoy Zohan. There's no need for me to watch this.
I mean, yeah, I'm very similar. I think we'll go into our backgrounds with the Sandman himself in the future, but I gave up. I say Clixie's last.
Yeah,
probably enjoyable one for me. I did see Zohan a year or two after release, and I hated it. I like the opening. But then, yeah, the Chuck and Larry, it's grim years.
I'll tell you what the turning point for me was. It was Funny People, because Funny People was the one where I was like, you son of a bitch, you can be good when you're bothered.
But yeah, that's him. But like, to Funny People, I know he's a lead in it, but I don't. It's not in the Sandman universe.
Yeah, it's not a Happy Madison. No.
So in the scheme of the Happy Madison quality, drop, let's say, it's been quite since like 2007, just every year we're just going downhill from here. I didn't see it on release. I didn't go see it in the cinema, but I did see it, I think, on Sky Movies a couple of years after, and I fucking hated it at the time. I'll get into the movie when we get into the movie, but yeah, I remember fucking hating it. And probably other than the grown-ups, I didn't see any more Sandman. I think this was probably me done in terms of comedy around this point. Maybe a few later on, but I'll see the Sandman outside of the Happy Madison universe after this. But anyway, without further ado, so this is interesting.
Yeah.
On a budget, I don't know if you've seen this, but on a budget of
I have looked it up. Yeah, this is the one time I have seen it. Yeah.
The one time. Okay, so on a budget of 79 million.
Yeah.
With a disappointing return, according to Wikipedia, which is very unique. 149 million. So just nearly double. Not too bad.
I've got something else for you though. Do you know what the Sandman's salary was?
I know for other films, but I don't know for this one. I'm going to go 25 mil.
Oh, so close, 20 million.
Yeah, okay. I knew it was 20 or 25. Yeah. See, I knew Grown Ups was 20, I think. And I couldn't remember if you'd go lower or higher. I think because this one was, a bit of a bust.
He's playing two roles, Kyle. Really, he should be earning 40 million.
Yeah, exactly. And he's not sharing it with as much of his friends.
There's no
in
Chris
this one.
Rock
so,
here claiming.
There's no Chris Rock. Yeah, no one needs a slice of the pie.
Yeah.
So, okay, that is interesting. But yeah, the Sandman does cost a lot. But as you can see, he does bring in a lot.
Yeah.
So if you're spending 20 million, he's even at his very worst, he's still giving you 150 back.
The fan base is there, Kyle. They're not going to desert him. We haven't deserted him.
We haven't. It's crazy. It's crazy how 2011 he still has mainstream appeal to this extent as well, though. We're not in the Netflix years yet. No. So, like, it's a weird transition period for the Sandman. But anyway, let's get into it. Have you got anything else to add before we dive right in?
No priming necessary. I think we can just jump in.
Excellent. Take us away then. Set us up.
Okay, so the film starts off doing the When Harry Met Sally thing, because we get a bunch of twins being like, I first met my twin when I was born, and we've been together through thick and thin, and we finish each other's sandwiches, and he's the evil twin and I'm the good twin, and whatever. We get twin talk from real life twins. And then nothing really to say about this. The names in the credits. So Katie Holmes was a little bit of a surprise. I didn't know she was in this. This is mid-divorce from Tom Cruise. So the divorce was finalized in 2012. So she used the freedom from Xenu to do Jack and Jill, which I've got to say, like, I don't know, maybe we'll deal with it when we get to Battlefield Earth, but if Scientology prevents you from doing Jack and Jill, maybe it's not all bad. So this is the name in the credits, so I'm just going to go chronologically through my notes. We will return to some other notes. So they have a young Jack and Jill playing out in the credits, like kind of like here's them being born, here's them like in the crib, whatever. Now they're toddlers, now they're young adults, whatever. And my observation was as like, what is a young actor's response to that going to be? Like, your agent's on the phone, like, great news, you've got the role playing a young Adam Sandler. Like the words every young actress dreams to hear.
And it's okay for the younger kids.
Yeah.
They can get away with it. But when it's doing the teenage high school years, that's the unfortunate slot. You can get away with it other times, but the more homely actress that has to perform it, you know what? Might get a slice of that pie as well. But maybe the pay was good.
I couldn't actually see them credited anywhere because I looked it up, because the Jack in particular, I was like, you look vaguely familiar, and I was like, it's too long for you to be Ari or Uzi Tenenbaum, but he's like Ben Stiller, young Ben Stiller-esque, curly-haired kind of.
Could be Andy Samberg's young version. It could be Sandler's, etc.
Yeah, but
he's good though. It is a good casting.
The young, they're good, and they're not credited anywhere. So unfortunately, couldn't tell who it was. But back to the names. Tim Meadows. I had no idea Tim Meadows was in this.
I don't think is Tim Meadows in the names, because my first note is, okay, it's a fucking dreadful announcement. I must have in my panic and rage wrote down Miss Tim Meadows. But it's like Swartz, and it is absolute no-namers to me. Like, I was, this is one, and I'm wrong, I will go into it. If this was my SNL drinking game, I'd probably be merrily drunk.
Yeah.
But they're all hidden away. They're not credited. All my fun cameos are not credited. Yeah. So it is Swartz, and it is Katie Holmes, and it is oof.
Yeah. And
Tim Meadows, though, the shining light, though, I will give him that.
And little licorice pizza reference, Gary Valentine is in this movie. The real life Gary Valentine's like a composite, where like he took the name Gary Valentine and he combined that with the real life experiences of Gary Goatsman. But the name Gary Valentine is Kevin James's brother, because I think Kevin James is Kevin Valentine. And so Kevin James's brother Gary Valentine is in this. Sadly,
he's in a lot of Sandman productions as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're friends. That's why PTA kind of crossed paths with him. So my next note. Yes, he's doing the cock and balls voice.
Oh God. Well, right. So what is this in regards?
This
to
is Jill, and this is IMDb trivia says the voice that Adam Sandler uses for Jill is the same voice that he uses for the track "Do It for Your Mama" on his second album. "Do It for Your Mama," known best as "Go on, play with your cock and balls, slap your schlong around for Mama."
It reminded me, right, so first of all, at the introduction of Jill, I have a note. So my first note is, the names are terrible, I'm going to hate this film again. Right? Timestamp, Jill's introduction. Fuck's sake, Jericho's going to love this film.
And you were right.
Fucking 8 Crazy Nights vibes smacked in my face. Yeah, it's something. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a reused voice. Yeah. I didn't catch on right away. I'm not as familiar with his discography as you are, but yeah.
I recommend to listeners, listen to the track "Do It for Mama" on Adam Sandler's second album, because it is a classic. 10 minutes of Adam Sandler just saying, "Go on, play with your cock and balls."
Genius.
Okay, so next note, the bird, which Jill has a pet bird, and he's like,
Yes.
"The bird, she's my best friend."
Yeah.
And she insists on. So I guess sorry, I'm just getting lost in the things that made me laugh. Set for this film, Jack and Jill, kind of estranged twin siblings. Jill comes to visit for Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
and then it extends her stay, and so she brings the bird, which is a cockatoo.
Yeah, named Poopsie.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I did pay attention. So like I will blurbify this film as I often try to do. Jack is a director for TV commercials. Yeah. He is married to Katie Holmes and has an adopted Indian child and a biological daughter. I don't think it matters. And for Thanksgiving, his wonderfully fantastic sister is coming to visit, and yes, like you said, doesn't leave, extends her visit. However, she gets involved in the plot because Jack wants Al Pacino for his Dunkin' Donuts commercial, and Jill gets entangled with Al Pacino. This is the movie. There's nothing else to the plot. It all gets resolved at the end. So like this is white wafer thin when it comes to a Sandman plot. And I was thinking about this because I was like, fucking hell, this is lazy. This is, and I will get into it more in terms of, no, you should stop shaking your head. This is like a SNL sketch. Like you have a joke. You have a one joke, and I don't know how they're going to do it. Maybe it'll be a digital shout. But there's no, I was like, fucking hell, like, is it just Happy Gilmore has a plot?
Would you have said this about Trading Places? Would you have said this about Brewster's Millions? This is just a classic. No. You don't want something too complex. You just need a classic, time-honored premise, like siblings, they don't get along.
Okay. Well, there you go. And there's the whole plot. So now it's just talk, because I did laugh, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not miserable here. I'm not fucking, this isn't, what the fuck was it called? Any of the worst. This isn't even The Lovely Lady. This is fucking The Lovely Ladies Man, sorry. This made me laugh at least half a dozen times properly. Mm-hmm. It also made me smile, and I popped at a few cameos. There's lots to talk about, and that's the excitement part. Yeah. But the actual plot itself, there's nothing. Yeah. So let's talk about the bits that made us laugh. What is your first note?
Okay, it's their table dinner, where Jill is speaking about something, and Adam Sandler's like, "Are you whispering with a bullhorn or something? Come on, everybody hears you." And then Jill replies with, "No, they can't, Mr. Hearing Expert." And I don't know why. It just made me laugh. My next line is, Jill compares something like, "It's like this movie with Jimmy Stewart, you know? The one where he's Mr. Potter in the town of Christmas." And they're like, "It's a Wonderful Life." She's like, "No! You know, he has such a wonderful life." And they're like, It's a Wonderful Life." She's like, "No!" And then
she's like, "No, what's that got to do with it? It is a good life, but what's that got to do with anything?"
And then when the homeless guy just contributes Star Wars, that made me laugh.
Star Wars did. So, right, I'm going to talk about, because we're a bit earlier, my first yes was Dana Carvey plays one of the crewmen.
Mm-hmm. He's a puppeteer, isn't he?
Sandler's. He's a puppeteer? Yeah, sorry, that's what
because they're shooting a commercial, and
dressed up, and he's dressed up as he's dressed in his full hippie, weird Dana Carvey show kind of era look, which is fantastic, because he doesn't pop up in these things.
No. This is his first role in, like, since Master of Disguise.
Yeah, this
9/11 sent him into a shell.
I fucking took me a moment, because I was like, no, maybe it's someone else. But to see Sandman kind of going back before his time of SNL is so good on Carvey appearing. He does make the most of his literal two frames by pulling bug eyes and pulling a face. So yes, that's one. At this point, at Jack's, it's nice. Where's the homeless man again? Where's Otto?
Is he not on set? Like, he's on set and then they have him back for dinner, isn't it? I thought it was.
Oh, they have. I can't remember why he's back.
He's at the dinner. Right? He's at the dinner, certainly.
He's at the dinner. Who knows why? I didn't question it. But yes, this is canonically linking Happy Gilmore to Jack and Jill. This is a reprisal of Otto. the homeless caddy for Mr. Gilmore, who aged fucking like wine. He looks identical to what he did in 1998.
no.
So fair play.
The streets have been kind to him.
Also gave me my yes. Star Wars made me laugh as a reply. Eating the bird, oopsie, when it and then trying to defend it with it flew into my sandwich is my favorite. That made me laugh. Again, just his delivery is great. I know he's one of the Sandman like producer, writer, crewman friends. So it's on like all of them. But fuck yeah, like he's fantastic. He's a glimmer of like 90s Sandman films into this time. So yeah, I think that's all the cameos I've marked out for at this point, but there's going to be way more. So keep going.
So we have had Tim Meadows as well, who's more than a cameo. He works on the set, doesn't he? He's like a colleague of Sandman.
He's some producer or something. Meadows doesn't get laughs.
Yeah.
That makes me, I mean, it's SNL all over again, but Meadows is used here as someone who is funny, but isn't going to steal time from Jack.
He made me laugh.
Or Sandler, you know?
He made me laugh purely because it reminded me of his character in Walk Hard. There's like some of his delivery where I was expecting to be like, it gives you a boner. But yeah, just the idea of Tim Meadows and him being funny in the past made me laugh, which I guess is cluing you in on how charitable I felt watching this film.
No, that is very much. And also in the production team, Nick Swartzen is no idea his name. He is his annoying sidekick who, again, it's a sign of the times. This is 2011, so we are going to get Swartzen. He's wormed his way in like a fucking parasite into the Sandman crew. And will take fucking all.
He's cast Rob Schneider from the nest like a cuckoo.
Well, on that note, it's much later in the film, but super glad that this film dunked on Rob Schneider.
We'll get to that.
We'll get there, but I'm just saying it's one of my laughs. So spoilers.
Next laugh for me was Jill's like, "Come on, we were roommates," which I'm ashamed to say made me laugh. I think what you're just going to learn is the cock and balls voice made me laugh, and so roommates, shitty pun as it is, I was like, I don't know. Next note, Jack is telling Jill to do some. I think they speak about like dating maybe, and they speak about Skype, and Jill's like, "What is that? It sounds anti-Semitic." And I was like, I think Skype did actually become an anti-Semitic slur, because I remember when I was going down my Paul Schrader-esque rabbit hole of the alt-right in 2016, and there was all this stuff of like, oh, Twitter's censoring us for slurs. Remember those crazy days when Twitter would ban people? But like, Twitter's censoring us for slurs, so now we're going to use like Skittles, Skypes, Googles, and it was like these are the racial slurs they correspond with. So Adam Sandler, clearly ahead of his time. Next thing we have is Al Pacino's introduced. He's doing Richard III, I think. And they're speaking about him, and you just get a kind of cutaway gag to like, oh, we want him for this commercial. And he's performing Shakespeare, and someone's phone goes off. And Al Pacino's just in great scenery chewing mode, because he goes, "You have a phone in your hand. You are told before the performance not to let it ring."
Well, you know what's even... I will give its credit. It's actually framed as a really smart joke.
Yeah.
Because the cutaway is when Adam Sandler's saying, like, we'll never get Pacino.
Yeah.
We can never afford him. And it's cut
The
into
Godfather
his
2
disasters.
Pacino,
Yeah. It's like, that is a beautiful joke. That's a smarter joke than I expect from Jack and Jill. And fair play to it.
Yeah. Well, there's more of that to come. Oh, my main negative against the film, Felipe the stereotype gardener. I have a note for him because Adam Sandler's gardener comes in, who is a Hispanic man whose personality consists of being kind of horny for Jill and just making jokes about illegal immigration.
Yeah, like it's pretty racist.
Yeah.
Can't lie.
And it's just like,
it's really
it's just like, ha ha ha, oh, my mom's been seized by ICE. Ha 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 ha. No, but seriously. Like, all of his jokes are just the same. It's just like, yeah.
And it's a big chunk. You don't need this romantic subplot. I know the film's slim enough as it is, but you could take it out and do other things. Yeah.
Next note, Jill is in a trench coat for some reason. Do you remember that scene?
Nope.
This is when she meets Felipe, I think. She looks like a flasher because she's indoors dressed in a trench coat, and I have no idea why.
Does she meet Felipe before or after her online date?
Before, I think.
Before, okay.
Yeah. And then a pony does the splits, and we have a CGI hamster. So I think Jill is like, come on, no, this guy can take my weight. Do it for mama. Let me ride a horsey. Come on. And then she sits on a horse and its legs fall out from under it. And yeah, that's that. And Adam Sandler's son, his character trait is that he tapes things together. So I think I did laugh when he was taping like the pepper the pepper dispenser to his head like a unicorn.
Okay.
And Jill was just kind of bending him over and like crunching some pepper.
Yeah.
But he tapes a CGI hamster to his back. Next laugh, Jill gets in bed with Jack and strokes his hair or something, and there's just like an excellent Joker smile, just like an incredibly...
She's fucking terrifying, man. Like, wow, I do remember that. I don't know why it reminded me with like, that old, what's the old meme, the overly attached girlfriend.
Oh yeah, wow, real callback to 2011.
Yeah, exactly, And,
our bad luck Brian's and our overly attached girlfriends.
Simpler times.
Coney 2012.
But fucking hell, that wasn't a laugh, but it was like, it would have been a laugh. If you set this film up more that way, skewed to like Jill's psycho, I would have had to, but it's great, it is terrifying, and I don't know how intentional it is, but well done.
Next note, I can't remember the context, but someone says, I can do it off camera, and I thought it was going to be Snyder. Like, I thought we were going to outright Rob Schneider, but like, at this point in time, I didn't know he wouldn't be in the film, but when I heard, I can do it coming said off screen, I was like, here we go.
Trigger, it's Robert Reddy,
It's like John Williams' Jaws theme tune. Next note, the bird is the MVP. I keep wanting to call him Kramer because there was a cockatoo at the rifle center in Vancouver who was called Kramer, and I loved Kramer. I used to visit Kramer all the time. He was a great guy, loads of personality, very similar to this bird, and he like they're just having breakfast one morning by the pool, and Kramer's just there, just like eating nuts. He's just like loving his life. Like it's like, I don't know, it's like when Adam Sandler would become known for going on holiday with his friends and they'd just be like hanging out first and making a movie second. I was like, I'm glad he's treating like Kramer as well as he treats Nick Swardson, because he's eating well. And so Kramer, this is when they introduced the online dating thing, because Kramer then gets us out of the scene with his contribution, I need a man. And Sandman plays Kramer. Not Kramer, Poopsie. I'm just going to call him Kramer from now on. Sandman does the voice of the bird. So he's pulling triple duty around here.
Triple duty? Yeah. For 20 million, bargain.
Okay, next laugh is the Sandman posts Jill to Craigslist because he's trying to get her, like, she's gone. The Sandman wants to get rid of her, and so he's...
Her and the kids, him and the kid, or no, wait, Sandman, Jack's kids convince Aunt to go online dating.
Yeah.
What's a computer?
Yeah.
And she does a terrible photo, but she wants to go with it. She's positive. Yeah. She doesn't get any matches, so she's all sad. She falls asleep at the computer. So Jack takes the incentive to set her up, but he does so by less than, let's say, stellar means. I think he does it on Craigslist. And where else does he do it?
I think it's just Craigslist, isn't it? He just puts like the Lonely Hearts encounter or whatever. Yeah.
And that leads to what basically
I like it because he starts off with high ambitions, being like lonely beauty, and he's like homely, good with animals, or just like he's constantly downgrading from like what is too egregious of a lie to put here. But it's a success, and she's like, I got 200 matches, I'm the belle of the ball, and they set out to help her dress for the date, and the son knows what the Sandman's done. And the son has a great line here where they're also like, oh, Jill, what are you going to wear? And then the son turns and says, what are you going to wear, Daddy? In hell.
The kid's good, by the way. Yeah. We didn't say it before. Daughter not so much, but the son,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Okay, my next note. Norm!
Oh, this is you've won me now.
Yeah.
You were teasing me at the start with Carvey
Yeah.
and Otto, but now you've got me, film. As soon as that fucking door swung open, my heart swung open. God rest your soul,
Yeah.
Norm. Fantastic scene being Fun Bucket.
Fun Bucket. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name.
Fun Bucket, I'll never forget his name. He doesn't get named, I don't think, in the film.
Yeah.
He is the one who is a little bit surprised
Yeah.
by Jill's more homely appearance. Norm is, so yeah, first of all, fantastic. Thanks, Sandman, for getting him a paycheck.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's a good man.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler's a good friend.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fantastic. So lovely seeing Norm. He does. It made me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
He's restrained here. He's
Yeah.
just got to react to Jill. Jill's playing it up at the bar, you know, down in drinks, burping, I think it is, and just being sort of like off-putting in general.
Yeah.
And you know, he's just got to do like facial reactions and you know, sort of react off her. But he does, you know, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
And like he disappears to the toilet, and poor Jill waits and waits and waits. She goes to the toilet. I thought, that's Norm gone. Like, he's not going to get no more laughs.
Well, this was our Billy Bob moment. Like, we spoke about the phenomenon in an Alan Smithy movie where Billy Bob Thornton has a cameo, and we've spoken about these things where like someone you love comes in and has a brief cameo, and you're like, no, take me with you, come back, please. And Norm was like that when Norm ditches her on the date. I was like, oh my god, no, he's ditched us. He's left us with the movie.
He's left us.
Where's Norm gone? Can we not follow him?
Yeah. But we do get a nice little send-off with another little extra punchline to the joke where he's clinging to the ceiling like a Spider-Man.
Yeah, like Jill is in the bathroom checking the stalls, and she opens it and looks, and Norm's gone, and then she leaves, and the camera pans up, and yeah, he's clinging to the light fixture. Yeah,
and again, he pulls a great facial expression. Yeah, no one can do it like Norm. Rest in peace. But yeah, wonderful little cameo, and it is like, you know, it's a little proper. Couple of lines, so fair play.
So
next up,
in many ways, this movie feels like a culmination of all the things we've done. So like, we were going to watch it a while back, but I'm glad that we saved it for when we did, because it has all of these little connections. The next one being when they're at a party and someone is like, hey, it's John Stamos. And I was like, oh my god, we're going to get John Stamos topless playing the bongos. He's going to be playing Kokomo. Mike Love's going to be at Jack and Jill.
If only. I mean, right, so we do get a lot of cameos as themselves in this film. They are sprinkled throughout quite liberally. Yeah. I don't know if there's any in particular you want to just pull out at random.
My next one, paedophile Jared, Subway Jared.
swinging in with paedophile Jared. Love it. Wow, I was like 2011 different times, but yeah, the belle of the ball.
Pre-conviction, we should add.
It is indeed. It is linked, you know, like Subway ads with Happy Gilmore, synonymous to me. I always think of Subway. I always think of Happy Gilmore's advert. And obviously this is a spiritual sequel to that film, so we're going to have to roll with that. But yeah, Jared comes in. He's with his hookers as well. Can't remember where he is. He's got two.
They're at a party, isn't it? They're just...
Yeah, but they call him his hookers, and he does like a sheet. See, that's the thing I have a note here. Jared the paedophile appears, but they also mock him in the film. Like, it isn't a cool cameo. No. They don't make him look good. No. They mock him. So like, for such a low, they're not mocking others. All these other cameos that appear are usually
esteemed Oscar winner Al Pacino is not Subway Jared.
So yeah, okay, he only gets a few lines. So have you got next cameo or anything?
Next one, I don't think it qualifies as a cameo, but nevertheless, the ShamWow guy is played by Vince Offer, who you may know better as Gay Dirty Harry, the mastermind behind inappropriate comedy and whatever the 90s version of it was.
Fair. No, I didn't click onto that one. I mean, obviously you have now, because this is sort of integral to your storyline.
I was just waiting for him to... I was like, oh my god, Clint Eastwood's going to be lusting after Jack. Go ahead, make me gay, punk. I don't think I have any other cameos. Do you? Well,
one's a laugh for me. Johnny Depp. is
Oh
at
yeah,
the Lakers
yeah, yeah,
game with Al Pacino, and Al Pacino goes in disguise.
yeah,
And Al Pacino gave me a lot of laughs in this
yeah,
film. So Johnny Depp doesn't get a laugh out of me. He's pretty fucking dreadful, but the scene
yeah.
made me laugh.
Mhm.
The camera, when it zooms in on Johnny Depp, it continues on Al Pacino slowly. It was a great, great visual gag. So that was one of them. There is a lot. I noticed I marked out for weird reasons. Bruce Jenner, probably a last appearance from former Olympian
Yeah,
Kardashian,
yeah.
Caitlyn Jenner, and there's sharks in it. Of
That's
course,
actually
it's
like
Sandman.
it's quite a funny gag because like Al Pacino's speaking about like I think he's like speaking about it not being the best production. He's like, we got Bruce Jenner playing Lord Rivers, and the cut is just fantastic. Like it's like a great performance by Caitlyn Jenner, just standing there looking like just clueless. Just like I'm just imagining like Dennis Deacon directing that, being like, yeah, great, just stand, yeah, exactly what you're
That
doing,
is
amazing.
Well, that whole scene later on, I mean, it's the reprisal of the joke we'd explained earlier,
Yeah,
where he's playing Richard III.
yeah,
It happens again where he's waiting for a phone call,
yeah,
Al Pacino, and he answers it mid
yeah.
performance. And the whole thing from start to finish had me like cackling away because Pacino, like the crowd, like hushing them hushing it, and him stopping the actors
Yeah,
when the replacement tries to run on.
yeah.
Nobody paid to see you, kid. Like
It's
the wait.
it's hard to tell if this is a specific reference because obviously like phones have gone off on Broadway so many times, but I think round about this time there was a notorious thing where I think it was Hugh Jackman and Daniel Craig doing a play on Broadway
Yeah,
and someone's phone went off and it was like a big, so I don't know if that was what wormed its way into the writer's room. My next
I don't know, but I also just think it's a funny joke. So it
Yeah.
made me think. I was like, oh, if I went to see a hero, I know if you'd go see one of your heroes and they answered their phone mid performance, you'd probably be like, yeah, you know what, take it
Yeah,
away. It's
exactly.
all right.
Once in a lifetime performance here. Like this is
Yeah,
unique. Yeah.
Mike Love, wait, I'll wait, Mike. Take your time.
Okay, my next note. Al Pacino dressed like a Gen X teen, which is to say that he's kind of dressed like Sandman because he's got the like baggy jeans and then like a hoodie.
Mhm,
And it
mhm.
just like it's truly
I
bizarre
mean,
to see Al Pacino in a hoodie.
it's just right. So Pacino is MVP. I
Mm.
think we all need to agree. No, you could. Your Jill voice aside, Pacino has so much fun, and I always told you this. The one thing I did defend about Jack and Jill back in the
Mhm.
day was I hated the Dunkachino thing being taken out of context,
Yeah.
and like even there's a good line in here where Pacino's like, I don't want to fucking do it, or like I'll be seen dead doing a Dunkin' Donuts advert. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't want to do it. Like he just doing it because he's lusting after Jill,
Hmm.
and it's like a favor to Jack and blah blah blah. But like I think Pacino came out of this the worst, and this really did fucking drag him down.
Yeah.
And I just want to defend him. I think he's amazing. He's so in on the joke, having such a burst of energy.
Yeah.
It's something different in a Sandman film. Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, I don't think he's bad. It just like the film loses me when it just becomes horny Al Pacino. Like he consumes the film too much, I think, whereas he's best used
Yeah,
sporadically. Like I
yeah, and you're saying this, okay, but then you're having Adam Sandler twice, fucking once, and you're like, no, you know what? Too much Pacino though.
I will
What
I
was if there was a third one?
I do
What was
think
if there were triplets?
I do. He does have probably my biggest laugh of the film when like Jill hits something in his apartment and it like she hits a baseball or something and it hits his Oscar, which just crumbles like a Razzie, like a $27 Razzie smashed to pieces by Ben Affleck. Al Pacino's Oscar is like made of plaster and it just shatters.
Hmm.
And Jill's like, "You must have another one at least." And Al Pacino's like, "You'd think it, but oddly enough, no." Which was amazing.
That's a great
Yeah,
line.
yeah. His solitary
Mhm.
scent of a woman Oscar. My next note, Jill is going to Me Too Pacino. Because
Well, yeah,
Al Pacino's very Pepe
Pacino's
Le
that.
Pew. He wouldn't get away with this in a post 2016 era, but he's
No,
very
but in a
aggressive, shall
Jared
we say.
Fogle era, he will get away with
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so another line I liked, something that made me laugh, was when Al Pacino is Pepe Le Pewing Jill, and he's like, The great acting teacher, Stella Adler, said that you only witness a person's true character when they're being tickled. Now put those arms up for me, baby.
But I haven't shaved in forever, I think was the line, right?
Yes. So I don't know. I like, I like acting legend Stella Adler getting name checked in a way that I hate when Kevin Smith references Samuel Beckett. I love Stella Adler getting wheeled out in Jack and Jill. And appropriately, from one of the greats of acting to another great of acting, my next note is that Katie Holmes sucks.
Okay, I mean, we haven't really spoke about Katie yet, have we? But
There's not much for her to do.
she's absolutely the token wife. I don't know. I'm not going to rag on her too much. She does nothing because she can't do anything. She's not allowed laughs either.
Yeah.
And it's also
women aren't funny.
It's also something I want to point out here, though, unless it's Adam Sandler in drag. The Jack character sucks. You're giving Sandman all the credit for Jill, but Jack sucks. Jack's a whiny fucking man baby. He doesn't have laughs. He's the biggest problem with the film, in my opinion.
Well, that's actually a note I didn't take, I think, is when they're at the cinema and they're seeing Some Like It Hot, and Jack is on the left and Jill is on the right, and the kids are kind of looking between how similar they are, because like we're not alike, we're not similar at all, and I'm like, Jack has to he has to give Jack a more wild laugh in order for him to be similar to Jill, because they're not similar at all. Jack's just boring. And
Yes.
so he needs to obviously ramp Jack up in order to then make him match with Jill. Because yeah, you're right. I understand that Jack needs to be the straight man, but he can be straight without being dull, which is what he is.
And then you can have other people be the straight man. Like Katie Holmes could be the straight man in this situation, having to deal with these wacky siblings.
What if she had a twin brother?
I have a note as well about Katie, who I think is the character that spends the most screen time with both Jack and Jill. Probably. That's my note. I think she does.
I think that's probably right.
And that must be miserable for the poor girl shooting. Like double time on set. We've got to wait until Sandler goes and gets changed and makeup. And like you've just got to fucking hang about.
Overtime, baby.
Overtime.
She's paying for that divorce.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it, Katie. Go back.
I was going to say, one of my favourite pieces of trivia is that Noah Baumbach wrote Madagascar 3 to pay for his divorce. And I would like to know where Katie Holmes' paycheck for Jack and Jill went to. Because she doesn't really do much, does she?
She's not allowed to, though.
Like before Tom Cruise, obviously. And then he was like, no. Say goodbye to your old pal, Chris.
I would argue that Katie Holmes has probably had most of her big time success because of Tom Cruise and the association with him. Like I know her TV work, and I know Nolan and stuff, but she's with Tom Cruise at that point anyway, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I'm not dunking on her. I'm just saying probably the reason
saying that women are only famous because of the men like Taylor Swift,
TV actresses,
like, dating that linebacker
TV actresses. The TV there's still, especially like early 2000s, there's still a lot of stigma on TV. It's not. Times have changed now, but like anyway, I don't hate Katie Holmes in this. She isn't good. But circumstantially, I felt sorry for her. And honestly, like, I'm glad it is Katie Holmes and she can play it as bland as fucking possible, because if someone was trying to upstage, like, Jill, I don't think my poor brain would take it. So, like, she does serve her purpose. So I'm going to defend Katie Holmes. I'll be on Team Holmes. See you in court.
You can't handle the truth. My next note is a match cut which rivals 2001, because at this point I think Adam Sandler is like, he's trying to pimp out Jill to Al Pacino so Al will do the commercial, and he ends up going to Al's I might be getting confused with the Lolita Express. Adam Sandler ends up on the HMS Lolita. He ends up on Al's fuckboat because he dresses up in drag.
Well, it's because Jill. He has his revelation that he can't pimp out his sister. And so he still wants.
Not that it's wrong, just that he can't. Yeah.
So he wants, because Jill just wanted to spend time with him, and
Yeah.
bond with the kids, blah, blah, blah. Not important. So yeah, he goes in drag. So it's great. It's meta. It's, you know, Adam Sandler as Jack, as Jill. It's layered acting here.
Yeah.
To continue. Take us through.
Yeah, so he just goes onto the boat, and I think at one point there's a match cut from Adam Sandler's Jack to Adam Sandler's Jill, and like Stanley Kubrick, eat your heart out because it rivals the iconic one from 2001. Like, it's so good. I should have made part of it my backdrop. Maybe this will be the social media clip, but it's just honestly, it is so good, and it just vindicates Dennis Dugan and all the stuff we've said, like Sandman, lazy, Dennis Dugan, a hack, nobody associated with Happy Madison any juice, because this, yeah, it's just, I don't know, maybe this is the London Film Festival melting my brain and making me see things where they do not exist, but I love that match cut. And that's really it, because my next note is Rob Schneider, which is kind of the end.
Yeah.
So like Al, like he lets Al down and is like, you know, whatever, like things just kind of pan out, have that kind of like rom-com resolution. Jill realizes that she loves Philippe, and like we missed a scene where like, oh, like the grandma with one tooth. We missed that big extended Mexican family, but nothing really to speak about there.
It's not, yeah.
So Jill goes home, doesn't she? And she's telling everyone with her tales of Hollywood, where she's like, I was on The Price is Right. I did this.
Yeah, she was on The Price is Right, yeah.
And I broke Al Pacino's one and only Oscar. And David Spade is in drag, and he's like, no, you didn't, Jill. You're such a liar. And then she's like, I was Me Too'd by an A-lister. What's the setup for, or I Me Too'd an A-lister, rather. I'm getting the verbiage of Me Too'ing wrong. What is the Rob Schneider gag?
Oh, I actually don't remember the full. I just have it as dunking on Rob Schneider. Yay!
Someone's like, I'm sure it's something like, I made out with a Hollywood star, and they're like, oh, it's probably Rob Schneider, and they're like, hey, leave him alone. I like him.
That's exactly the joke. And I thought
and Jill's like, they're dunking on him, and Jill comes out with, I like him.
This insufferable.
Which is just one of your like.
Fantastic.
You like the monkeys?
You know, Rob doesn't even write his own tweets.
He does so. Okay, and then it's mentioned earlier on that Al Pacino is trying to make an adaptation of The Man of La Mancha, and he's working with Terry Gilliam apparently, and he comes in dressed as Don Quixote, and like speaks about, you know, Jill, hasn't worked out, but no hard feelings. And there is like a great bit about him tilting at ceiling fans. Like, he's like, what's that thing up there? Which I was like, I like this. I know it's hardly like a niche. You don't need a degree in English literature to get a Don Quixote tilting at windmill fan, windmill reference. But I liked the tilting at ceiling fans.
I genuinely did too. I smiled. Again, it's quite highbrow for Jack and Jill. So fair play. Genuine laughs up. Chino's committed, and it is a nice way to wrap up everything. Happy days. I'll do your commercial, but we're all good.
Which I did not expect, because previously the only thing I knew about Jack and Jill, for a long time I didn't know was part of Jack and Jill. I knew this before I knew Jack and Jill, really.
Yeah.
But the Dunkachino thing, I assumed it was part of the film, but really it's the closest you can get to the end without being an over credits gag.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it then cuts to the, of course, like, it's not Al anymore.
Yeah,
it's Dunkachino. That's right.
What's my name?
Dunkachino.
Continue.
So Al Pacino does his Dunkin' Donuts commercial, which I feel was also an excuse for everyone ragging on him. People who hadn't seen the film were like, oh, look, isn't this tragic to see, like, our great Pacino and De Niro
That's what I was saying.
Like
That's exactly what I was saying.
He's not like De Niro jacking off in Dirty Grandpa. It's like, this is self-aware. Like,
100%.
He's parodying actors selling out. He's not selling out. Listener, Let me make that clear. He's not selling it. And what was always clipped, because I used to follow that account that was like Daily Dunkachino that did all the different
Mhm.
styles of the Dunkachino thing. And whenever I've seen it, it's clipped the end, which is it cuts to Adam Sandler and Al Pacino watching it in like a test. And Al Pacino's like, burn this, which made me laugh
No one must
so
ever
much.
see this or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. Yeah, and I think this is my theory. I think it gets a genuine laugh from the Sandman
Yeah,
because they kind of cut to black, and I
yeah,
was like, "You've never heard him laugh like that on
yeah,
screen." I was like, "I think that's a genuine
yeah,
laugh."
100%.
Yeah. So that's Jack and Jill for
That is
you,
Jack and
listeners.
Jill. Well, what's your opinions? Is it Razzie worthy?
It's not fantastic. It's like elements of this could be Razzie worthy. I don't think for this year. I think there were a number of worse films out this year,
Hmm.
but like it's Scorsese for The Departed. Of like Sandman is certainly a Razzie worthy figure.
Yeah.
I just wasn't. I was expecting this to be the worst of his career, and it's far, far from that. Like all of his Netflix films, I know you would say they perhaps don't qualify, but all of his Netflix films are worse. The
Hmm.
Ridiculous Six is worse. Grown Ups is worse. Grown Ups 2 is certainly worse.
Hmm.
So I was pleasantly surprised. And I think this comes down to my personal tastes is like, you're right. Like, Jack is boring. He's no different from Lenny Fader in Grown Ups. But what I like in a Sandman is I think the funnier the voice he's doing, the better the performance. And so Jill like
Yeah.
single-handedly redeems this. I want my Sandman to be wacky. I want like people to be like eating
Hmm.
birds, and I want like just like all the when in other films it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, why is John Turturro turning up to play like the inventor of baseball? Or like, why is Steve Buscemi in this?
Hmm.
Whereas this was the complete opposite. I was like, oh yes, it's Tim Meadows, it's
Hmm.
Dana Carvey.
It's
Um,
I forgot one last cameo. It's fucking David Spade in drag as well.
yeah,
He
yeah.
gets I think that might be one of the few times David
I
Spade's
said that
got a genuine laugh out of me.
he's the Snyder guy.
Yeah, but he gets a very good laugh out of me. So like
Yeah.
just because of the way he's sitting with like his false tits and stuff, like he looks great. He looks fucking hilarious. So fair play. But yeah, okay, I will give you that.
So I don't really think it's Razzie worthy,
I
to be
I,
quite
I
honest with
mostly
you.
agree with you. You
Hmm.
know, like I wouldn't recommend this if you unless you really like Sandler. I wouldn't recommend it.
Hmm.
If you don't like Sandler, you're not gonna like this.
If you don't like Sandler, stay away
Stay
from
the
this.
fuck
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Go
This
watch.
isn't going to
Go.
be the one that changes your
No.
mind. But if, like me, you are fond of the Sandman and you'd given this one a wide berth because you'd listened to the haters, then
You know,
maybe
it's
it's not
it,
that bad.
it's 80s McCartney for me. I'm just picking songs out. You know, like I don't
Yeah,
think this
yeah.
is any better than Chuck and Larry or like maybe you're counting jokes overall.
I think this is so much better than
I
Chuck
don't.
and
Maybe it's been
Larry.
a
We
while.
don't have a racist Rob Snyder for a
We
start.
don't have Dan Aykroyd though. You know,
We get Norm.
we get Norm.
Norm is worth. If you're balancing
Okay,
Norm and
but
Aykroyd
we're
on the
also
scales, you're gonna have to chuck
this
on a
is the
lot of
level. This is
Aykroyd
the
before you
fucking
go.
levels we're arguing against. Is what cameos make the film better. But
The cock and balls voice. The cock and balls voice. Show me one funny voice
so
from Chuck and Larry.
I don't. But if you do like Sandler, it's probably one of the last glimmers, like you touched upon.
Yeah,
I
the
don't.
dying of the
I don't
light.
think this is it's not good, but it's not Razzie. It's a category. It's a definition. It's a
Yeah,
feeling that you know that you once you know it, you know that's what a Razzie film is.
yeah,
And there's ones we watch. This isn't this, and
yeah.
this is not that. I do have some final thoughts though before we move on.
Yeah.
My smallest improvements. Yeah.
Okay.
So I do think this film would have been fucking beautiful if it was done
Hmm.
15 years earlier or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
It did make me think because he does I'd have loved to see Farley and Sandler be Jack and Jill or like
yeah,
two girls. You know,
mm,
it did make me think of SNL a lot. There's a
yeah,
lot of cameos. I'd have loved to see this like
yeah.
younger in their primes. Sandler doing his when he's recording that voice, when he's doing that album time period would have been fantastic. We could if we could have got more of a you know. So this was my head was Farley and Sandler are sisters. Full go. Let's just
Yeah.
go full your voice.
Yeah.
Your whole film. A road,
White chicks, but
road
Sandmen.
trip for a mum's funeral or something, mum's wedding, like like bonding again, meeting crazy SNL characters on the way. Do a Wayne's World formula, but that's a different film. For what this is, I have one small joke that I thought of that I thought will improve this film. It might get a smile at you. It's a line where they're in the cinema, right?
Yeah.
And and then it's like when Sandler's he upsets Jill and Jill storms out.
Yeah.
And a guy shouts out, you suck, dude. You made a woman cry. And then a guy replies, that's a woman?
Yeah.
The only way to make this joke better, the tiniest, is I wish Pat walked across. And then he went, now that's a woman. That's a 2-second joke, gets a double laugh out of someone. That's my only improvement.
Gets a paycheck for Julia.
It does, everyone's happy.
More synergy. Yeah. Bring Pat and Chris back.
Bring the universe together for me. Come on, like we've got the Happy Gilmore stuff. Like I wish, let's just dive in. But other than that, like improvements, you're making a different film. I could have done with more supporting at times, probably more Jill, less Jack, like I've said. Yeah, but it's the last of the dying light for Sandler. So
it's hardly a small change, but I would ramp down the Pacino and give them more stuff to do. Like, do we hear about their parents?
Mum's dead.
Like, yeah. Oh, yeah, because that's the whole thing. It's like, my first Hanukkah since Mom died. Oh, you're going to leave me alone. Yeah.
We can have 8 crazy nights together.
Yeah. So I'd have less predatory Al Pacino and more like they have to visit family or whatever, or they're just like other kind of things that you could do with a sibling.
I have the most fun when there's someone fun to bounce off of.
Yeah.
When there is like the crazy homeless guy, with small doses of Pacino, like you said. When there is someone who can spade and drag, these are the people that Norm. These give me more people to bounce off the characters.
Or like my favorite, the son. The son's good. Like maybe some aunt and nephew bonding time of like, I have to go to parent-teacher evening because your dad is working late. Yeah. Or just like,
teaching them, give me some of that Mrs. Doubtfire kind of, like teaching them morals and looking after. You could easily improve this film by just making it better. But again, it's going to end up as a different film. So it is what it is. You take it as it is.
So on to the awards recognition for this film. So we are, of course, discussing it because it won Worst Picture. Also, strap in. You're going to be in for a long ride. It also won Worst Actor. Adam Sandler in Jack and Jill shared as Jack Sadelstein. So, his Jack performance is kind of lazy. I don't think it's as lazy as he would.
I will say, to this point, is probably the worst Sandler performance as a male. Like his Jack up to this point, even like because Grown Ups isn't here yet. I don't think, is it?
Grown Ups 1. No, Grown Ups 2 is 2010. I think they're both. No, 1 is 2010 and 2 is 13. I think.
Okay.
So 1 has been out.
Grown Ups 1, hold on, is 2010. Okay.
Yeah.
But
don't doubt my Sandman.
No, okay. Okay. Point still stands. Then my point still stands.
I think he's worse than Grown Ups, but I do point taken. I he's not great as Jack. So nomination perhaps, but win no. Worst actress, Adam Sandler in drag in Jack and Jill as Jill Sadelstein. How many listeners can we lose if I just do?
Well, I'm glad we're at the fucking end of this thing, because
it's new recurrent character Jericho's Cock and Balls voice. Okay, so you know what I'm gonna say? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like Pacino. I don't like Mr. Razzie nominating people in drag. I don't like him padding out
I don't
the
like that either.
But I don't think this isn't win worthy, and this isn't probably nomination worthy. I don't think either. Like no one else could make me laugh. No one else could come up with as funny a voice as that, apart from maybe like Tom Hardy or someone who could just come out of something completely out of left field. Then we have Worst Supporting Actor. Win for Dunk Ichino as himself in Jack and Jill.
Well, it's a big hard no for me. You might argue it a little bit more, but I mean, he gave me some of my highest laughs. So no, like I can't. Just I enjoyed it too much.
Yeah, I could understand how it might rub some people up the wrong way, but like I don't think he's win worthy, and I personally wouldn't have him here at all. Then we have Nick Swardson in Jack and Jill, another shared nom, which we'll discuss in the second half. Swardson, on the other hand, yeah, he fucking sucks.
Yes.
Thankfully, he doesn't get too much screen time.
He doesn't, but still on this is again in a 90-odd minute film, barely. You know, it's just why he doesn't get any laughs. He just there to. You could have done it better. This is what I'm saying when you could have utilized a better cameo. Give me someone else. Give me Chris Rock or something. You know, give me a little cutaway. Give me another cameo of him being on set. I like those like fake movie sets and stuff. You know, like the more Good Will Hunting too. Give me more of that. More Kevin Smith.
Then worst supporting actress, David Spade in drag in Jack and Jill as Monica.
Hell no. I disagree with it.
He's in it for 2 minutes.
Yeah, and he's barely in it, and he is really funny, and I don't like David Spade that much, so like, mad compliment to say that. Yeah, no, fuck off. At least you watched the film though.
yeah. Then we have Katie Holmes in Jack and Jill as Erin Sadelstein. This would be she doesn't have the Oscar highlight clip of like she doesn't have the standout moment for being a winner. She's just sort of pervasively bad, like her line readings are just stilted and unconvincing, so she probably lacks that little bit of juice for a win, but I think she's definitely non-worthy.
Yeah, I have defended her.
Worst screen couple, Adam Sandler and either Katie Holmes, Al Pacino or himself in drag in Jack and Jill. That was a win. Make your fucking mind up.
Yeah, make your mind up. Yeah, and I disagree with all three, to be honest. I mean, again, the Katie Holmes thing, it's not good. Like, but come on, it's minutes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then, worst prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel, Jack and Jill, ripoff / remake of Glenn or Glenda.
Fuck off, hey. Like, get out of here. Fuck off. Oh, what the fuck? That's it's not even like a dinner table joke, you know? Like, it's not even that's fucking get fucked.
Strap in for more in the second half of Mr. Razzie flexing with his cinema knowledge, but like there is no way that they are intentionally remaking Ed Wood. That's not like
he's not allowed
it's just like, oh huh.
He's not allowed to reference films like he hasn't seen either. Like, fuck off.
Okay, and so moving on to worst director, Dennis Dugan for Jack and Jill and another film shared. Mm-hmm. So
absolutely not for me though. Like, it's competent, it's clean, there's good cuts. There's honestly there is some genuine like nice stuff in here. Weirdly so. There's a lot of like, I mean, I guess if you got the time and you're on holiday with Sandman, flex some of that creative muscle. Especially because again, you know, you're probably doing a lot of shots twice with both, you know, Sandman. So yeah, good on it. Good. I like him.
Yeah. Then worst screenplay, win Jack and Jill, screenplay by Adam Sandler and Steve Corrin, story by Ben Zook.
Well, I'm not defending the screenplay. You can, but I'm not.
There's some good gags in there. Yeah, I'll defend the screenplay. I don't think it's win-worthy. Nomination, sure. Okay. But like...
We'll meet in the middle. I'll agree with you there.
And then worst screen ensemble, win for the entire cast of Jack and Jill. No. So Dana Carvey, come on down.
Yes. Fuck Norm, you had to go and die, didn't you?
This is where we bankrupt Mr. Razzie by making him make awards for every single person with a second. We're gonna go and deliver a Razzie to Jared Fogle in prison.
Come on down, Jared Fogle.
Come on, Kramer the cockatoo. Here's your Razzie.
No, that's fantastic.
It's not the worst ensemble looking at the list.
Not at all.
Okay, and we have teased the second half a lot, so join us after a brief musical sting when we will be covering all of the other winners for the year of 2011.
Tease it.
Welcome back. So, we have for you an interesting selection of films. first up, we have the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1. So you have not seen this
I've not seen
installment, that's
this.
correct?
We've covered this on whatever year the Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. Is that what the last one was called? The one we watched.
Yeah.
The one we watched for
Yeah,
this
yeah.
show. That's that one and the first one. The last one and the first one are the only ones I've seen. So I'm keeping it that way. I'll never, ever, ever watch the middle ground. Love it. Love knowing it just at the start and the end. So how is it?
They blurred one a little bit, but this is the one where like they get married and like she has Renesmee, and so like it's the most Mormon, I think, because
Okay.
she gets pregnant and they're speaking about like they want to abort Renesmee, and this is where Jacob's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill that baby." Actually, that baby's kind of ooh. So yeah, no, it sucks.
Okay.
There we go. I've talked myself around to it. Then Transformers: Dark of the Moon.
Which one's this?
You're asking me, okay. Looking at the picture, I think this is the last Sam Witwicky one.
Okay.
This is Shia's Farewell.
So no, I haven't seen this one. I seen one and the podcast one, which is 2.
Okay, yeah.
Was it 2?
Same for me, so
Yeah,
2,
yeah.
yeah. Revenge of the Fallen. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
This is the one where they sub out Megan Fox because she had compared Michael Bay to Hitler, and so Rosie Huntington-Whiteley is the girlfriend.
Okay.
Yes. And then we have New Year's Eve, which we have not watched yet, but is one of our holiday anthology movies,
Oh.
so we can't really comment on that.
No,
Come
maybe
to us for our take on
New Year's special.
December 31st. Yeah. Then we have Bucky Larson, Born to Be a Star.
Fuck. I haven't seen this film, but I remember the cover. This was an Asta cover.
Yeah.
This was on a perennial DVD bottom shelf. Yeah. Have you watched it? Did you take the bullet for this one?
Yeah, so Inside Baseball, Behind the Curtain, we were going to be doing this a little while back. So I watched Bucky Larson months ago, and I wish I hadn't, because it's now become like a weird sort of fever dream where I'm like, did that happen, or am I imagining this, where I am going to sound like the pervert? I'm going to sound like the madman if I recount Bucky Larson. If I get anything slightly wrong, it'll be like, hang on, wait, Jerry, why did your imagination come up with this? So Bucky Larson, again, I think this came out when I was in Canada, so I spent like a couple days by the Toronto airport before I could move into my accommodation. And one of the things I did there was like one of the like 3 movies I saw over that year was when I was at the airport with nothing to do. And I think Bucky Larson was one of the choices. And I was like, no, I'll see Our Idiot Brother instead. But Bucky Larson, I also remember the poster for. But I have watched it. So Bucky Larson is the child of 2 porn stars, and his friends show him his parents' tape as like as a prank, and I think he wanks to it, and he's like a weird kind of like, he has like a sort of like bowl cut hairdo, and he's got like big buck teeth, and he's very like incest inbred coded. He's a Mormon again, I guess. And so his friends kind of goad him into jerking off, and he becomes like a chimpanzee that sort of like spasms and orgasms and whatever. And then he's like, yeah, it's in my, I don't know why it's Adam Sandler. He's like, it's in my genes I'm gonna go to Hollywood and I'm gonna become a porn star. And they're all like, Jesus Christ, no. And then I think he goes into a regular casting. He casting couches himself. I think he goes into a regular casting and like exposes himself. And some guy's like, hey, I like what I saw. And he goes and he becomes like an extra in a porn gig. And then they discover that he becomes some weird kind of like circus attraction where he has the world's smallest penis. And yet he projectile ejaculates everywhere while screaming like a chimpanzee. And
sounds fucking dope.
It's dreadful. It is so much worse.
You're not selling me
so
on
much
here,
worse,
buddy.
Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be my winner. Or interestingly, when this episode was kind of on the line, I was like, is there anything I can do? I watched a film which I am probably going to make you watch for our next special.
Yay.
You'll say it doesn't technically qualify, but Showgirls 2 was released in 2011.
Ooh, we did touch on it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is wild, honestly. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad. I think you will like it because it's just like I could try and tell you things
No.
about it and you
If
wouldn't
I've
believe
got to
them.
watch it, I'll watch it. I'll go in blind.
Yeah. So, yeah, Jack and Jill innocent. That's all I have to say. Moving on to worst actor, Nick Swardson in Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star as Bucky Larson. As I covered, he's dreadful. He's not a lead. He's like, who thought that? Just no, no Swardson for me, please. Taylor Lautner in Abduction and the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 as Nathan Harper and Jacob Black.
I have not seen Abduction, so I'm gonna have to rely on you here.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I can't remember. My mum might have told me something about Abduction, but I can't quite remember. I feel like there is some point about Abduction that makes it remarkable or weird, but I can't recall. Twilight Saga, this is category fraud on the part of Mr. Razzie because Jacob, by this point in time, has been all but sidelined. Like, Bella's kind of made her choice. She marries Edward. He's in it probably about a similar amount as he is in Breaking Dawn Part 2. And I'm sure Mr. Razzie nominates him as supporting in another year. So, like, yeah, no, don't really agree with him as lead. Then we have old favourite of mine, Nicolas Cage in Drive Angry, Season of the Witch, and Trespass as Milton Beeman von Bleebrook and Kyle Miller. So, despite saying I'm a fan, I have seen none of these because this is the height of his tax issues.
Yeah, I think I seen Season of the Witch. I didn't see the other two. Yeah. I'm sure I watched Season of the Witch on a bloody fever, hazy night. I don't remember anything about it though. Yeah, this is the straight to Sky movies. It's pretty fucking rough here.
That said, Trespass, 2011 crime thriller directed by Joel Schumacher, stars Nicolas Cage and Nicole Kidman. Also features Ben Mendelsohn. So nothing to say. Cage can be good. Cage can be bad. Might be good value. I don't know. Then, again, this is a nomination which, had we recorded this episode when we were originally gonna, I could have got out scot-free, but it's going to be an interesting discussion. Russell Brand in Arthur as Arthur Back.
Fucking hell, that's timely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have not seen Arthur, so I will withhold judgment. I do hate Russell Brand as not just as a person, but as a performer too. He's fucking wank. What else can I say? I only remember him in like Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Get and the shitty spin-off, what was it, Get Him to the Greek or whatever,
Get Him to the Greek,
which I didn't enjoy. So like nothing to say. Shit, I never seen Arthur. I've seen the original, but I've not seen the remake. Have you?
And you've seen Arthur 2 on the rock?
I have. Do you doubt for one moment? Is there a legacy sequel like in the 80s? Of course, I'm watching it. Yeah. So have you seen the remake?
Yeah. So, for my sins, I was like a huge Russell Brand fan.
Oh.
I jumped off years ago, as with Morrissey, when he became that weird sort of like anti-vax, like, oh, the mainstream media doesn't want you to believe in the negative publicity for Arthur. The media will tell you not to see Arthur. They'll tell you it's a bad film. But nice to be a movie, if anything. Exciting to be an Arthur. So I jumped off with Russell Brand years ago, but in 2011 I was massive Russell Brand fan. So of course I saw Arthur, and Arthur has a legacy to this day in that it was the first film I ever saw Greta Gerwig in, and the film was kind of like forgettable, but I was like, ooh, this actor playing like the romantic lead that isn't Jennifer Garner, I like her, she's really good. So yeah, whenever anyone speaks like, oh, like I loved Greta Gerwig since Lady Bird, or like since Frances Ha, I'm like, well, Arthur, 2011's Arthur when I saw it. Yeah. So yeah, if I were to rewatch it, Yeah, he's not. Russell Brand isn't a good actor. Even when I liked him, I would tell you that. Like he can be used well in Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Get Him to the Greek when he's playing like a heroin addicted sex addict, aka himself. But he's not like he has no range.
Yeah,
He's not a good performer. He's not a good actor.
yeah.
So yeah, that's well earned. And then the winner, Adam Sandler and Jack and Jill, and Just Go With It as Jack Saddlestein and Dr. Danny Maccabee. So, have you seen Just Go With It?
No, I haven't. Have you? Again, this is my
I watched
drop
it.
off point. So yeah.
Yeah. I watched it because I still to this day I haven't seen 50 First Dates. I don't much care for his ones where he goes on holiday with a woman. I
Hmm.
want to be hanging with
Well,
the
like,
fellas. That's what I want.
51st Dates was the first of that, and that
Yeah.
carries on like the nice wedding singer tradition.
Yeah, I
And
haven't seen
you
that
see,
either.
that's a classic Sandman. That's peak Sandman. I mean, that's what between Madison and Gilmore. Jesus, man,
Yeah.
you call yourself a true Sandman fan.
I don't want him to be hanging around girls, okay? I want to be playing with his cock and balls.
Well, 51st Dates. So I count 51st Dates as it's a spiritual follow-up. It's Barrymore and Sandler again. It's the first of the holiday films, and I like it. It's not his best. It is that post Mr. Deeds. The golden years are behind us, but it disguises the fact it's on holiday. It's become so much more blatant. And I hate his holiday films. Like you could letterbox playlist, like grown ups just go with it. Like all these fucking shitty ones he does, these holiday films,
If he leaves the continental United States, not a good, not a good movie. Yeah.
not a good sign. But 51st Date's charming, it's sweet enough. Again, it's not the best, but like I like it. I remember liking it anyway. So I will defend that one. I recommend Wedding Singer a
Yeah.
lot to you though.
Maybe I'll.
I think that's
Yeah.
a must one day.
So just go with it. It's a little more wacky than I initially gave it credit for, but it's still not exactly what I would want. And he is undeniably pretty boring in that. So moving on to worst
Mhm.
actress, Kristen Stewart in the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 as Bella Swan. Done that to death. It's the same Bella performance as it is in all of the other films. She gets shafted a little more in terms of like she has to get married and give birth, and like she has a lot of stuff on her plate, but I don't think she's to blame. Sarah Jessica Parker in I Don't Know How She Does It and New Year's Eve as Kate Reddy and Kim Doyle. So we haven't seen New Year's Eve. I don't think you'll have seen I Don't Know How She Does It. Am I wrong?
You are correct. I've not
What if
seen
I
that.
told you that it stars former James Bond? Do you wanna guess which one?
What year is
2011,
this?
yeah.
Well, it's either Armor. It's either Craig or Brosnan.
Okay, yeah. It's not Moore,
Not in 2011. It's not. No, not
not
with
Dalton.
SJP either. No, 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 no. Not on again. Not
Yeah,
with Sarah Jessica. No, no, no. It's got to be. And when was Mamma Mia? Hmm.
2008, The Dark Knight year.
Could be Brosnan
It's
writing
Brosnan.
off that.
Yeah.
It's Brosnan. Yeah. Craig's got his hands full. To be
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, no, I don't think Sarah Jessica Parker is that good. I don't really like her as an actor. Yeah.
I don't like her. I don't like her as an actor. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I don't think I'd like her as a
Oh,
person.
I don't like her chosen
Yeah,
husband.
I
Manslaughter
don't.
Broderick.
And she.
Once again, Jericho just reeling it back to tragic loss of life.
Oh me. Oh great.
I'm sorry, you were saying
Yeah.
something.
No, no, no. I'm not a fan of Sarah Jessica in general. Like she's an anti-draw.
Yeah.
Where I'm gonna not watch a movie because she's
Yeah.
in it.
So yeah, I agree. Then picking up the Fahrenheit 9/11 baton, we have a nomination for Sarah Palin as herself in The Undefeated. The Undefeated is a film by then little known figure Stephen K. Bannon.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, ooh. Have you seen it?
No.
No, fair.
No,
I can only judge Sarah Palin off her brief SNL
yeah.
cameos, as I can with everything in life.
Sarah
And
Palin as Tina
yeah,
Fey.
not too impressed. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Politics aside, her acting's not that great.
but yeah,
So,
yeah. Then we have Martin Lawrence in drag in Big Mama's Like Father, Like Son as Big Mama.
oh, is that the third one,
Yeah.
or is
Big
that
Mama's House 2 is the second
that's
one. And then is
that's
there a
the
fourth
yeah. I
one?
know I this could have been the fourth one, is what I was thinking. I thought there could have been Big Mama's XL or something,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a
Big Mama
a
comes
middle, a
home.
third
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. Big Mama.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, this I've not seen this one. I've only seen the first two, so no comment.
Okay, and then we have Adam Sandler in drag in Jack and Jill as Jill Saddlestein. So, moving on to worst supporting actor, Nick Swardson in Jack and Jill, and the other one, just go with it as Eddie Sims. It's the same.
Hmm.
He's just been riding off the Sandman as a meal ticket. Like he's just delivering the same performance in everything apart from Bucky Larson, pretty much.
Yeah.
So no, by no I mean yes, he's worthy. Then big one. Ken Jeong in Big Mamas, Like Father, Like Son, The Hangover Part 2, Transformers Dark of the Moon, and Zookeeper as Mailman, Leslie Chow, Jerry, Deep Wang, and Venom, respectively.
I've not seen any of those.
You've
Have you
seen The
got any
Hangover
comment?
Part 2.
Oh wait, sorry, I didn't
That
know that
was
was in there. I
sandwiched
saw it.
in
All I heard
there.
was
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I like Ken Jeong in doses rather. I haven't seen
Yeah.
Zookeeper or the third. I don't know. Is he on Community at this point? 2010,
Yeah, yeah,
2011?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right, fair. But yeah, no real comment. I don't think he's Razzie worthy from Hangover Part Two. That's all I can say.
Yeah, he was kind of novel. He's like, I think he's good in like the first Hangover, and he was kind of like a shock. He's one of those like weird performers that Hollywood then overuses. Like he overstayed his welcome
Hmm.
almost immediately. Of they're like, yeah, let's put that weird guy from The Hangover and everything. Have him playing the weird guy
Hmm.
from The Hangover, and that character got old real fast. So yeah, well deserved here. Then we have James Franco in Your Highness as Prince Fabius.
I walked out of this movie.
Wow.
I went to see it. I probably lasted like 25 minutes, and yeah, I left.
Yeah,
So that's my review. That's my review of it. I like Danny McBride and all
yeah.
that, but
The Mighty Bush
I'm
guys.
not watching a shitty stoner comedy with James Franco set in medieval time. No, you can fuck
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah. So fuck him. Fuck James Franco and fuck this
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. I have seen it. It was dreadful because I thought I was like, oh, I had quite high hopes for it. I'm just naive and I want the best and everything. And I always imagine a movie in my head that could be good, and then I'm disappointed when it isn't that. But yeah, it's bad, but I don't know if I would say James Franco is the worst part. Like, if you're going for Your Highness, then you also have to go for McBride, for Portman, for the writing, the direction.
I go for fucking yeah. What's his name? Because it's my fucking arsehole that's putting a nail in my beloved Exorcist. What's
Oh,
his
David
name?
Gordon Green. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Pineapple Express and all the shitty stoner comedies. Before he came for my franchises, he destroyed my stoner comedies. Where's Mark Hamill?
Yeah.
Oh,
Then we have Patrick Dempsey in Transformers Dark of the Moon as Dylan Gould. So yeah, I definitely haven't seen that because it's weird to imagine Patrick Dempsey
no.
being in a Transformers movie.
Yeah,
Yeah. Then Al Pacino winner as himself for Jack and Jill. So moving on to worst
yeah.
supporting actress, Nicole Kidman in Just Go With It as Devlin Adams. Fine. She's like, no one's really that good, but she doesn't exactly stand out. Nomination worthy. Brandon T.
Fair.
Jackson in drag in Big Mama's Like Father Like Son as Charmaine. Where's Brandon Jackson gone?
Um, what's he in again?
Tropic Thunder is my one that I know him from.
I don't know. He's not. He's not. I can't imagine him right off the bat.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, interestingly, that's the connection. He's Al Pacino in Tropic Thunder. You know the guy, the booty sweat
Ah,
and
yeah,
busting up
yeah,
guy.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe this killed his career though.
And then we have Rosie Huntington Whiteley in Transformers Dark of the Moon as Carly Spencer. Don't really know anything about her, but she's the
I
model
don't know her
turned
at all.
actor that we love to rag on. Katie Holmes in Jack and Jill as Erin Saddlestein, and David Spade in drag in Jack and Jill as Monica. So, making great pace through here. On to Worst Screen Couple. Kristen Stewart and either Taylor Lautner or Robert Pattinson, The Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1. Just Groundhog Day. I feel like I'm just in purgatory speaking about these three until the end of time. Listeners, tune into any random episode if you want to hear my thoughts on Kristen Stewart and either Taylor Lautner or Robert Pattinson. Adam Sandler and either Jennifer Aniston or Brooklyn Decker in Just Go With It. So Just Go With It is the one where Adam Sandler pretends to be married and Brooklyn Decker, Jennifer Aniston's like he's like a dentist, something, she's his assistant. Anyway, no, they're not good. Pick a lane, Mr. Razzie. Sheila LaBeouf and Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, Transformers Dark of the Moon, can't comment on it. Nicolas Cage and anyone sharing the screen with him in any of his 3 2011 movies, Drive Angry, Season of the Witch, and Trespass. Anything to say
there? No, that's some bullshit. That means, like, if that won, the gates are open for who's eligible in this podcast. We're bankrupting the motherfucker. Anyone that shared the screen gets their Razzie. Yeah, nah, fuck that. Like, that's bullshit. That's lazy.
Yeah, and then the winner, Adam Sandler, either Katie Holmes, Al Pacino, or himself in drag in Jack and Jill. So, worst prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel: Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 1. Again, don't really have anything for us to say there.
Again, yeah, it's just this.
But wait, we are gonna get some juice. There is still some meat on the bone as we get further in.
Dude.
The Hangover Part 2. The Hangover Part 2 is it's the platonic ideal of these kind of things, because The Hangover Part 2 is just beat for beat the same as the first one.
Oh yeah.
It's like the Force Awakens New Hope thing of like, let's just smudge the details a little bit. Let's give this a paint job and hope no one notices.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I hate it, like, for the record, but I love talking about it. I love talking about Todd Phillips. This is pre-Joker Todd Phillips, by the way, guys. Pretend we're in, like, 2015.
Yeah. Post-GGL, pre-Joker.
Yeah. That's my time. I always appreciate it. It's a good story. I think I would like to write a book about a character like this who has a success absolutely out of nowhere with The Hangover Part 1, which was groundbreaking, which was, like, a phenomenon. But you know what? Like you said, like Ken Jeong and stuff, and still really funny, and it isn't a bad film at all. It's on the scale of things out this time, it is one of the better comedies. The second film is beat for beat, like you said. It's like Ghostbusters 2 level of just literally the same fucking film with a facelift and a few inverses of tropes from the first one. But he had to do it, like Todd had to do it. If it wasn't him, like, someone else was going to do it, and someone else was going to either fuck it up or make more money than him. Like, you had to do it.
Yeah.
And then, like, I like him being roped in and being forced to do it, because I enjoy The Hangover Part 3.
Al Pacino, I try to get out, and they pull me back in.
Yes. And I enjoy the unhingedness of the third film. I don't think it's a good film, but I enjoy it for what it is.
I think I've said this before on the podcast. 2 is a tired retread of 1, and 3 makes me long for a tired retread of 2. Because I was like, oh god, no, if this is the different thing you had up your sleeve, please, just give us Doug Gets Lost again. I don't want to see Zach Galifianakis dealing with the death of his father and breaking out of an insane asylum or whatever, like all the Godfather
John
stuff.
Goodman being a kingpin. Yeah. Fucking sign me up. A heist. Yeah, like, I'm up for that. Fucking go nuts, burn it to the ground. Like, that's why he was suitable for the Joker, because
he himself
is
a Joker-esque figure.
Yeah.
I'm only burning my half of the budget.
So it's weird. I just don't know. I have a soft spot in my heart for even Hangover Part 2, because I feel like I would end up making that, like, having a hit and then being forced to do the second one and burning it to the ground by the third one. Like, I get big feels for him, but it isn't a good film. It is very close. When was the knockoff one with Robert Downey Jr.?
Due Date.
What was that called again?
That was 2010.
Yeah, so that made it even more redundant.
Yeah.
Because the knockoff came in between them, so you're even more diluted and stale.
Yeah.
That didn't help at all.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. We have Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star, ripoff of Boogie Nights and A Star Is Born.
What?
Okay, it's not a ripoff of Boogie Nights. Let's get that out there. Boogie Nights is about
Yeah.
the porn era and the loss of innocence with the 70s as a decade. It is not about Dirk Diggler. And also, Dirk Diggler has a massive dick. Bucky Larson has no dick. Different. And A Star Is Born, it's not really, because, like, A Star Is Born, a key part of that, I've only seen the Bradley Cooper one, but I think that the key part is just like they're on opposite trajectories. Is just as important is The Star Is Born is the dying star.
Well, is that not just because of the tagline? What's the
Born to be a
subtitles?
star.
There you go. That's why. That's the only reason. There's no other fucking reason. That's it. Like
Bucky
that's
Larson's
Mr.
crap, and it rips off a lot of stuff. But yeah, no, yeah.
That's the only connection. Mr. Razzie did not watch this film, and he thought, "Fuck it, Born to be a Star. It must be a rip off of Star Is Born."
Yeah.
That's it.
Then we get Arthur. So yeah, I've seen the original Arthur, and Liza Minnelli's no Greta Gerwig. I'll say that much.
Get in the bin. Liza for life.
Greta Gerwig could play Lucille too, but Liza Minnelli couldn't direct Barbie. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, 1971 she could have.
And then, of course, Jack and Jill rip-off remake of Glen or Glenda. Just want to let that sink in. One of the weirder nominations in Razzie history. Then moving on to Worst Director, Gary Marshall for New Year's Eve, coming soon. Our thoughts on that film. Bill Condon for The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 1. Bill Condon, weird guy. Like, I don't entirely get why he got that gig. Because, yeah, what's he coming off of? He had done Dreamgirls, he'd done, like, Gods and Monsters and things. He'll go on to do Beauty and the Beast. But, yeah, I don't entirely understand why he got the Twilight gig. He's no David Slade, that's for sure. Then Tom Brady deciding to hang up the old pigskin and take up the clapperboard to direct Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star. So if you're unfamiliar with Tom Brady, he also wrote and directed The Hot Chick.
Oh, yeah. Coming off fine credits then.
Yeah, but hang on. He went on to write and produce episodes of The Critic and The Simpsons, which he would follow with other television works such as Home Improvement, Men Behaving Badly, Sport Night, and Good Vibes. But yeah, The Critic.
Simpsons or what episodes?
Yeah.
Like, I'm suspicious. I'm suspicious for that. Like, you can't put that on your CV anymore, Like, fucking, it's just like probability. In 10 years' time, we could put that we're Simpsons writers on because it's season 72.
Andy Warhol, fucking in the future, everyone will write and direct episodes. Yeah, so I just think, like, if he was involved with The Critic, you're telling me you couldn't get John Lovitz to have a part in John Lovitz's cameo in Bucky Larson? Couldn't pull those strings.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Michael Bay for Transformers Dark of the Moon, kind of spoken about this at length. It's unpleasant to watch at times, but it's unique, so I have to give him plaudits for that. Then the winner, Dennis Dugan for Jack and Jill and Just Go With It. I guess that's good. He got all the creativity out of his system with Jack and Jill and then just kind of went on holiday with Just Go With It.
Yeah. I mean, Sandman looks after his boys. Yeah. Dugan is one of the better ones,
for
though.
Sure,
he was one of the
chief,
gold marks. Yeah, he's Happy Gilmore, so he probably has. Yeah, I mean, he's got like 2 or 3. I think there's 2 or 3 he rotates between. But yeah, Dugan high standards, but also does a lot of shit. So yeah. he does do it well though. So fair play to him.
Worst screenplay: The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 1, screenplay by Melissa Rosenberg, based on the novel by Stephanie Meyer. Kind of discussed this, like the Twilight screenplays. You need to give them some amount of recognition because they are making something serviceable out of Mormon nonsense. So the Twilight Saga, it kind of just needs to exist, really. It's like, okay, we need something, and it has to be something we can shoot. So through certain regards, it's almost like I almost want to pat them on the back for what they did with the screenplay.
Yeah.
But then we have Transformers Dark of the Moon, screenplay by Erin Kruger, based on the toy line by Hasbro. I haven't seen it, can't comment. New Year's Eve, written by Catherine Fugate. Interesting that it's just one person again. We then get Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star, written by Adam Sandler, Alan Covert, and Nick Swardson. So yeah, it fucking
Oh,
sucks.
I mean, that's a surprise. I mean, I'm blaming Swartzen
Yeah,
because Covert's Sandler's main
yeah,
writer. Obviously, ahead of Lee's his best writer. That's his SNL writer. That's his co-writer. But I think Covert produces or directs or writes pretty much, and he's one of those loyal boys.
yeah.
Like Dugan.
Gilmore, Wedding Singer,
You'd have
Big
to,
Daddy, Little Nicky, Mr. Deeds, Anger Management, 51st Dates, and I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. So.
yeah. There you go. There's loyalty is rewarded to the Sandman.
Yeah, yeah, not a great screenplay and certainly pales in comparison to Jack and Jill, which was the winner. So we're just rounding things off with Worst Screen Ensemble, the entire cast of the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1. Okay, it doesn't have my guy, what's Lee Pace? I feel like I'm just going to do that every week because I'm going to forget Lee Pace's character's name.
What's Lee Pace? He's Lee Pace.
Benjamin is
You're asking
Rami
me.
Malek, and Lee Pace is. Oh, damn it! Bear with me for a second. Listeners yelling at Garrett. He's Garrett. How could I forget? So we don't get Garrett, but whatever. Then we get the entire cast of Transformers: Dark of the Moon. I'm just going to read you out some of these names because they always have very interesting ensembles. Sheila Booth, Josh Duhamel, John Turturro, Tyrese Gibson, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, Patrick Dempsey, Kevin Dunn, Julie White, John Malkovich, Francis McDormand, Kiko Agina, Lester Spate, Josh Kelly, Alan Tudyk, Ken Jeong, Glenn Morshower, Buzz Aldrin, Bill O'Reilly, Elia Baskin, Andy Dooley,
Jesus.
Iqbal Fiba, Sammy Sheikh, Mindy Sterling, and Chris Sheffield. So,
Wow.
yeah. Hang on. And wait, I haven't even. These are just the people that appear on screen. If we go to the voice cast, we have Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime, Hugo Weaving, Leonard Nimoy, Mark Ryan, Jess Harnell, Chris Adler, Tom Kenny, John DiMaggio. So yeah, interesting.
Wow.
Interesting ensemble. Bill O'Reilly and Leonard Nimoy.
That is a hell of
We then get the entire cast of New Year's Eve. We'll cover that in approximately 3 months.
Yeah.
The entire cast of Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star. Yeah, okay, so we need to speak about this. This is a high point in his career as Pauly Shore is in Bucky Larson. And never has Pauly
2011 Pauly Shore.
Never has Pauly Shore been in a movie and not been the most annoying thing in it. So, congratulations, Pauly. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Other names that are in it. Christina Ricci is the love interest in Bucky Larson, which, I don't know, she was clearly going through some shit. Hard times for Ricci in 2011, if this is what she ended up in. Don Johnson's in it. Stephen Dorff. Nick Turturro, the brother of John. Curtis Armstrong, a.k.a. Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. And Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, they're all fired out in 2011, aren't they?
And so we then get the award going to the entire cast of Jack and Jill, of course, which brings us to a close. Not one of the better years, really.
And I mean, it's fun to talk about Sandman. I can't wait to talk more about Sandman.
Yeah.
Jack and Jill was fun.
Yeah.
But what a dreadful ceremony, award.
Yeah,
Razzie.
The first half was great, but yeah, the movie's great.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, no.
But that's a poor. And again, you're just picking the 4 or 5 franchise fillers that, like you say, you regurgitate the same fucking thing every year. Lazy. We could have been talking and seen. There's a lot more this year. So yeah.
Yeah. So interestingly, on Wikipedia it says that this is another one with an in-person ceremony, with the Razzies being held at the Magicopolis in Santa Monica. And it says on the Wikipedia page for that year, a quote from Mr. Razzie, "The intent of the awards is to be funny." Well, you sure as hell dropped the ball on that one, didn't you?
Yeah, that's poor. That is poor. Again, he's so like he's no self awareness. It's fucking
Yeah.
unbelievable.
So yeah, that kind of brings us to a close for another year.
Hmm.
Gonna ramp the energy back up for for the outro. If you have enjoyed listening to this podcast, if you want more of my Adam Sandler cock and balls voice, if you want to request an off-brand cameo, then you can contact us
Hmm.
at watchingworstfilms@gmail.com, and you can follow us on social media where we are Watching Worst, and we'll no doubt be uploading several clips of the cock and balls voice over the coming weeks. And
Lucky you.
that is where you can follow our adventures as we come towards the finish line. And we will be back to you next week, crossing off one of the few films we have left with Battlefield Earth.
Oh, it's the big
Yeah.
one. It's the Razzie of all Razzies, isn't it? So yeah, it looms much like a Boeing full of souls into a volcano. It looms. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it though.
Okay, famous last words. I'm not.
I tried to say that with some sincerity for the listeners. Um,
Just taking your pet to the vet, like, no, it's okay. There's nothing to be
no, it's all
scared
right.
here.
It'll be okay.
We're going to Disneyland. We're going to Dog Disneyland. Okay, so join us next week for our trip to Dog Disneyland with Battlefield Earth.
Excellent. See you then.